Today, as I mentioned, I just finished an immersion. So we are going to be enjoying the energy of what unfolded together. When I went to meditate at the beach, there was still a lot of movement happening for her. And part of the invitation that I set forth is that during our time together, everyone, in known and unknown ways, in beautiful, supportive ways, we're going to move things that are going to support all of us moving more into alignment with ourselves. And what unfolded and what she was sharing, there was this beautiful recognition of her saying like, wow, like everything looks so much more beautiful. Everything looks so much more colorful. And she described it in her own way. And it was an acknowledgement that when we really embody more of ourselves, and this is for all of us, when we really step into becoming more of ourselves, free of the past, free of the pain, free of the doubt, the more we get to truly see not just ourselves and the people in our lives, but also just the way that life is truly being offered to us. So as we sat on the beach and really just meditated, it was like this acknowledgement of how beautiful the water, the sky, everything looked. And I am going to be posting pictures. So if you follow me on social, please check out the pictures so you guys can see. But the sky looks purple. So I will be posting the picture of how beautiful the sky looks from up here, but also how it looked by the water. The divine God, source, creator, universe was reflecting back to us the beauty that is within us. And it was being offered for us to see the beauty that is also all around us. Thank you. And what they're audibly saying, that we were being reminded there's purpose to our life. There's purpose to our story. There's purpose to our moments. And sometimes we can get very lost in the storyline. We can get very lost in what's right in front of us. We can get overwhelmed even at times at what's right in front of us. But there's so much more for us to see. There's so much more for us to perceive. There's so much more for us to savor and enjoy. And the more we take time to shed, and they're showing me a vision of taking off that clothes, the costumes, the layers of what we've picked up along the way that at one point on some level served us, the more we get to see ourselves. So today, part of the conversation in my meditation, what they were saying is reclaiming our innocence. It was yesterday that they were inviting all of us to lean into being in our innocence. And within all of us, there is this beautiful innocence that helps us to see and perceive life from a lens in which there isn't any stories. There's no limitations. There's no restrictions. There's no boundaries and expectations that keep us from seeing all that is being delivered. There's an innocence, thank you, and awe and wonder that we can all welcome when we truly lean into seeing more of ourselves outside of what we think we know and outside of what we've been told, outside of what we think we need to show up for everybody else. There's this layering that unfolds when we go through life that a lot of times we're only taking the layers to get us through certain things in our lives, but somehow along the way, we hold on to it. Somewhere along the line, we decide that it's safer and easier to hold on to this versus letting go and seeing what else life is trying to deliver us. And as children, and it doesn't mean all of us had a childhood that can reflect knowing and understanding this, but what does happen with children in their own authentic self, right? There's this innocence. They're able to move through life just being in a state of awe and wonder, just as they've been designed, right? It's easy for them to pick something up and let it go, right? It's easy for them to see something and let it go. It's easy for them to witness and let it go, is what they keep repeating. And the reality is that all of us were born with this ability. This is what's interesting. All of us were born with this ability to pick up and let go. All of us inherently have the ability to pick up and let go. Let go of what no longer serves. Let go of what we had to pick up along the way to get us from point A to point B, so then we can go ahead and let go and continue to move forward from point B to point C, from C to D, and so on and so forth. But what happens, because it feels safe and because we can feel comfortable in that, we try to drag what got us to point B. We try to drag that which we had to pick up to survive or make it through certain circumstances, we try to take it to point C, and what happens is that we find ourselves stuck in the middle. We find ourselves looking around, trying to figure out what's next, feeling uncertain, feeling unsure, when all along it's about letting go of what got you to point B, because that is not meant to be dragged along to point C. I've done it. We've all done it. So it's not like pointing the fingers like, oh, I'm better and I haven't done this. No, we all do it. I've done it many times. I've asked him. It's like, it's so interesting because why do we do that? You know, some of you might be going through stuff and you're like, why do I do that? Why am I still holding on to this? Why am I holding on to this doubt, this fear? Why am I holding on to the idea that things may not work out? Why am I holding on to this relationship? Why am I holding on to this bag? They're saying bag. Why am I holding on to these things that I know I no longer need? Why do we do that? And somehow along the way, we believe or hold on to the idea that it's a lot easier to hold on than to move into change, right? There's this elusive idea that it's safer to stay here and it's safer to hold on to this than to take the leap and go there. But all along, the sadness, the pain that even our bodies will communicate, the challenges that we might experience are all because we're just not letting go. And one thing I like to celebrate is that life loves us so much. God loves us so much. Divine loves us so much. The angels or higher self, whatever you choose to call it, loves us so much that it will show up and make us uncomfortable so that we can actually look at something and let it go. You know, as I do these immersions and when I work with coaching with clients, some things that happen is that I actually feel pain sometimes in my body for them. Meaning, like, if I see something that's stuck, I'll feel it in my body. Like today we were working and I had this intense headache, everyone. It was so intense. And as soon as I was being shown what we needed to discuss or what needed to be looked at, what needed to be addressed, what needed to be brought to the light, as soon as we just discussed it and it was given freedom, right? It was given voice, it was written, it was given freedom, the headache went away. And the reason I'm saying this is because some of you might have physical, emotional pain. It doesn't mean all of you do, maybe some of you. And it's interesting because in life we go up and down, right? We have our moments, we all do. And a lot of times, again, our bodies, our emotions, our experiences are trying to help us see that something just needs to be put down, that something needs to just be voiced. And it's not about going out and voicing it to a bunch of people, but just voice it with yourself, voice it to God, give it its freedom. Because if the pain is there, it just wants to be acknowledged. All of us want to be acknowledged. All of you want to be acknowledged on a deep, deep level, right? All of us crave love. All of us want that connection. All of us want to be seen. That's not ego. That's part of this human experience. We came from an experience on a soul level in which we were seen, loved, and accepted. We were all in this union, this sea of love, and we crave going back to that home. We crave feeling that. We crave that experience. And the reason we crave it because there's a part of us that knows we have access to it. It's not access from other people, but the most powerful way to access it is by you giving it to yourself. But what happens along the way is that, again, we keep these bags and we keep stuff and we keep piling up. So the giving that is trying to be given from source, the giving that can be tried to be given by somebody else, the giving you're trying to give yourself can't be fully received. They're moving energy to that because we have too many layers. And they're showing me very quick visions. And one of them that I'm going to lean into explaining more is that, you know, like a plant and a flower naturally and organically move towards the sun. But if we put layers over it, right, we create these shades, right? It's like we don't allow the sun to come through. We maybe put stuff on top of it. What happens, it becomes afraid to stand in its beauty. It's unable to receive and perceive that the sun is actually right there. It's just covered. And the same thing happens with us. Layers upon layers, other people's ideas and perceptions about us, other people's words, other people's experiences. We feel sorry for them. We believe what they say. Experiences that we decide for ourselves, experiences we say to her, like we, and I keep saying they, but it always comes back to me. Because ultimately we are these gatekeepers. We're the ones that decide what can come in. And it doesn't mean you can't hear it. And it doesn't mean you don't respond to it. And it doesn't mean you don't get hurt by what is said or get uplifted by what is said. But you ultimately decide the kind of flower that becomes. And if there's too many layers on top of that seed, on top of that flower, of course it will wilt. Of course it will feel heavy. Of course it's going to create some pain because it's asking for you to lay down the layers.